Okay. Mr. Drew Siko, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate
Howdy, guys.
it.
Howdy.
It's
We,
Sicko.
Sicko, yeah.
Sicko.
I
Yeah.
guess it's. I've heard it mispronounced Siko, Psycho.
Yeah, Seiko like the watch.
I haven't heard of
Is that a
those.
thing?
Yeah, they're like not bad watches.
I've heard Sikorsky, like the helicopter. Well, actually, my name is Sikorsky. My last name's Sikorsky. So
Okay.
it's
Oh,
just
okay.
like I shortened it. It's not some like crazy stage
Oh,
name.
okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering if it was like
Yeah.
totally a stage name or
Fuck,
not. Yeah.
you could definitely do a play on the helicopter thing though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah.
Dope, man. That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering. Well, I was thinking like I don't know. I feel like young people say sicko.
Yeah, and then when the Sicko Mode song came out,
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
a ton of jokes. But like, honestly, I signed up for Instagram, shortened my name because why not?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then it kind of stuck, and then I started releasing music, and it's just like, all right, it's same. It's got
Yeah.
a kind of got a ring to it. People told me, and then if they mispronounce it, like I have a friend of like 3 years that just still calls me like, "Yo, Siko." I'm like, I don't
Alright.
care. I don't care to correct him. Like it sounds kind of foreign. It sounds like Japanese or some shit.
Nice.
But
There you
you
go.
have a good short name though. Like
Yeah, that's true.
my last name shortened is just Hair, which
Yeah.
doesn't sound
And
as
if you
good.
go bald, that's gonna suck. For
Yeah,
you.
exactly. That's gonna be a real problem.
Yeah.
So.
You should have seen him back in the day, bro.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He had the fucking locks.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Big time.
locks.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing the music thing for?
Probably just like producing instrumental stuff. Maybe like 4 years. I want to say
Okay.
Oh, cool.
like since 16 or 17. I'm 20 now. So
Yeah, I was gonna say you're a young dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty young guy. But yeah, probably lyrics and kind of singing, rapping sort of stuff. Maybe like a year or a little longer than a year. Like my first song I ever released with lyrics was probably, I think it was November 11th.
Mm-hmm.
So that's coming up. I actually got a song coming out on that same day
Just
for an anniversary type thing. I like releasing music. It's Remembrance Day. It was also my grandma's birthday, and it's just a cool 11/11
Yeah.
date. So
Yeah.
I got a single set to release for that.
yeah,
so.
the album cover's always good for those. Just 11.11 or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, like
Nice.
Jay-Z 444. I like that album cover a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Fucking album art makes albums, man.
Oh, it really does.
It does. I think it almost goes a little underappreciated now because it's
So true.
not like a big thing, right?
Yeah, it's
like
not in your hand.
It's not an
on
LP.
your wall
It's not
and
a
stuff.
Yeah.
CD. And most people, I don't know about you guys, but because if you're Apple Music and you're on like Shuffle and you look at the list, like it's just like a tiny
Oh,
little
so
square,
small.
you know.
Same with Spotify. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just a tiny thing, but I think nowadays you can have, if you're a part of a label, you can put like a clip of your music video as the album art, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
There was this thing on Instagram. They were showing like this proof of concept to where they could, show the people that made the album art, like in the little swipe thing. Because sometimes on Spotify or even Apple Music, they have the lyrics.
Yep. Yep.
Right,
There would be
right,
like
right.
a little tab, and album art creators or visual directors could have their own section in Spotify. Like, here's their other work. Here's the album covers they worked on.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
Oh,
'cause,
okay. I like that.
I make all my album art myself.
Mhm.
I've done a few things for other people, but it'd be great, like for the art community
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
get some recognition. You know.
You know what's fucking important? Because I know a guy that stayed up for 3 fucking days straight because he did the YouTube ripoff like music. So he'd MP3 whatever, just grab the music off of YouTube, and obviously there's no album art that comes with it, right?
Yeah.
So he spent the better part of 3 fucking full days getting the album art and fucking putting in chronological order.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it was insane.
That's
but I was like,
that's a purist who cares about that sort of thing.
yeah.
right?
But
So-
he would share his library, and it'd be awesome because you just like go in and be like, fuck, everything's in this folder. It's amazing.
Yeah, I've been working through like my DJ set library, and that's a whole thing where you gotta like type in the BPM and the key, and I like to have the album art too because it shows up. So
Yeah.
if you get it from certain sources, it'll show up as well. And I've just been digging through that for a while.
Cool, man. So are you more of a like producer, DJ turned rapper singer type?
I think I'm like a producer, DJ that isn't confident enough to sell beats, so I just started rapping on my own stuff, and then I don't know. It's kind of hand in hand. Like I have a lot of hobbies and ideas, and I just kind of put my effort into all of them depending on the day, right?
Mhm.
Like I've been into tattoos recently. It's like I do a lot of things I've started to realize like out of necessity of not being able to pay other people to do it, like cover art or I guess in chronological order, I started making like little videos on camcorder, like, you know, VHS cameras.
Yeah.
And then little skateboard edit videos. And then, you know, with YouTube taking your stuff down if you use other people's music.
Right.
I started making like my own instrumentals for that. And then that was super fun.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, just like making cover art for it. Okay, so I'll learn Photoshop. And then, you know, when you're making the beat, you're kind of like freestyling. You're like, oh, if someone rapped on it, it would kind of sound like this. And then, you know, develop your own style. And then, you know, here we are.
Yeah.
Fuck, I love that, man.
I like that. That's cool, actually. Yeah. Yeah, like you need something, just go out and get it, right?
Yeah.
So.
Because I get confused when people like teach themselves how to make beats or anything, paint or whatever endeavor. And then they're like, oh, but I don't know how to build a website. I'm like, you taught yourself that other thing. Like, you went on YouTube, you didn't know how to do it, you watch a couple of videos, and now you do. So just do that with everything else.
Yeah. There's honestly no excuses nowadays when you
I
can.
think so.
Yeah, you can go out, that information's there. You can you can buy a really cheap course, and those courses are gold mines too now.
Yeah, I've started to invest more in that, like Skillshare or certain sites where it's like, okay, this is not just some 12-year-old on YouTube teaching how to do this shit anymore. Yeah. It's like an actual, you know, person that's put effort into their course, and then they're going to sell it. I've been thinking of like either making YouTube tutorials myself or putting together like a full course that's under a paywall or behind a paywall, I guess.
Beauty.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's dope, man.
Damn.
Yeah.
So did it all start with like a pirated Fruity Loops or something like that, and that's how you started making beats? Am I dating myself with Fruity Loops?
No, not really. Pirated Fruity Loops is definitely the jumping off point for most people. I think for me, I was more of a like Jay Dilla, Madlib, MF Doom kind of producer. They do the pads, like the old Akai MPC.
Yeah.
So the modern day representation of that's kind of like the machine stuff they've been doing. It's just this hardware where it's like a pad connects to your computer. So it comes with the software. And shouts out my dad. He bought that for me when I started to show interest, and then just played around with it. And now I'm using Ableton, which has been really fun. I've kind of ditched the pads. I thought I would miss it more than I do, but I'm kind of just copy pasting, typing in like beats now.
Really?
Which I never
Interesting.
thought I would do. And a lot of people with Fruity Loops, if they don't have a piano or a pad to connect to their laptop, they're also typing the notes. And that's how I explain it. But basically drawing in piano melodies and just straight up laptop producers is the new wave right now. Because all you need is, you know, whatever laptop you got.
Yeah.
But you can do a lot with it, right? Like if you know what you're doing, you can make
I think Fruity Loops, Ableton, like all the softwares, they do basically the same stuff, just have a different layout and different feel, different like effects that they come with, and then they can all use like third-party ones. So I don't discriminate between anybody. I mean, like there's a certain, like I could tell what kind of music you make by the type of program you use sometimes, but sometimes people surprise you, you know.
So would you say like the barrier to entry is pretty low for that stuff now?
Pretty low, because I mean, without even pirating Fruity Loops, I think it's like $200 to $300, and like you could mow some lawns or shovel some snow for that. And you know, the hardest part is just getting a laptop. But there's this guy Steve Lacey, and he did a lot of stuff off GarageBand, and he's like, you know, a signed artist in a band, and he has some solo work too. And a lot of people don't know because he doesn't like talk about it in his songs, but in interviews he's got like an iRig cable, plays guitar into his phone or into like a interface that goes into his phone, and makes a lot of stuff super mobile. Like he'll be in an actual studio, and he'll get it mixed and mastered in an actual studio, but everybody's got a phone. Like at this point, I think you have to have one. I think they just give it to you at birth. I don't know.
Honestly, probably.
You're part of the next generation, so you probably had one a lot longer than we did. But
yeah.
I think I had like an iPod in grade 5.
Yeah.
But like I knew a kid in grade 5 that had like an iPhone 4, and I was like, even being in grade 5, I was like, who are you gonna call? Like, what are you? Why
no one
do
else
you have...
has one.
Exactly. So
yeah.
But I got a younger brother and sister, and they definitely like phones, iPads. Like they know how to use that better than me even. So you know, I'm kind of in an in-between generation, because I feel like, you know, the new kids coming up, even though I'm only 20, like I see certain things on TikTok and I like don't get the jokes.
Like, what? Yeah.
Yeah, and I get scared. And I'm like,
that's
oh my
reassuring
God,
to us.
I'm not young anymore. Like I don't get everything. So.
Fuck, man.
Cool.
Yeah, just wait 5 years.
But it's kind of, the world's sort of detached, because everything was like still anchored with like a desktop or laptop, right? And like, I don't know, even like podcasting, you can record. I know lots of people who have recorded podcasts on like cell phones, right?
Yeah.
Like there's almost no excuse to not do whatever it is you're wanting to do, right? So
Yeah, I think the equipment side of things is like a barrier that people kind of put in front of themselves, because even with my music, like I didn't have the best mic or the best speakers to listen back to the stuff on, but I kind of one day was like, all right, if I make something really, really good, and the only problem with people not listening to it is the fact that like it's the microphone's kind of hissy or something, like I think I could break through, you know. And if you make that one, because there's the whole lo-fi movement, right? If you guys
true.
It's like people,
they want that sound almost.
they want that sound, and I don't know if it's because of taste or because of necessity, because for me, a lot of my beats were like lo-fi, I guess you could say, because I didn't know how to mix properly, so I just made everything sound worse, but like intentionally.
Yeah, I got
and then
you.
it's that's kind of what lo-fi is. There's an art to it at the same time, but
Intriguing. Yeah.
you know, if you don't have a best mic, like put yourself out as a lo-fi artist.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Kind of works to the genre, I guess. Interesting. Yeah.
I mean, I get caught up even too, like, oh, I don't have a fucking $3,000 camera, so how can I, video this or whatever? And it's like, yeah. I mean, even I bought a lav mic for $30 the other day. It plugs right into your phone. You can record, like, it's pretty good audio, right?
Oh, for sure.
Onto your phone. So
yeah, even the voice memos. There's been a few, like if I could go back in my songs, there's a few times I just played the piano with my voice recording in the room, and then kind of saved that, put that on my computer, brought it up one day, and was like, this is kind of the bass melody for the song. Like, other than the drums, everything you hear in this song is, the bass is from the voice recording. So
interesting. Damn, I like that. That's cool. I like this guy.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like kind of that improvised style, or like just start.
Yeah.
Don't make reasons.
Just like use what you have type thing.
Exactly. Work with what you got.
Yeah.
Right? So
because what I was saying was like I had a VHS camera.
Yeah.
My parents or my uncle or something gave to me, and that's the one where you record and you have to like stop and go re-record it. You can't edit or nothing.
Yeah.
I couldn't even get the footage off of it because at that point, like, who has any computers that could take that off?
VHS to MP4 sort of thing. Yeah.
But if you look at like rap music videos nowadays, there's like a
There's
trend.
like a grainy trend, or like filters to make it look like it's VHS, right?
Yeah, and sometimes it's like if you can get your hands on an actual one, because they don't make them no more, like that's pretty good. So I've directed some music videos and edited some to where it's like I've done a lot for myself that haven't come out, but for OG Jonah, he's a local artist, and Rai and Nawali, it was a kind of collab song. It's called Badly. So both those videos on YouTube were done with just a VHS camera, and they keep breaking, and I think I probably got like 7 or 8 of them in different stages of disrepair, because I just pick one up at the pawn shop for $40. Maybe it doesn't even work, but hey, it's $40.
Yeah.
And if it does work, then hey, I have something that nobody else has, So kind of going into that nostalgic thing.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's awesome, man. Very very resourceful.
Yeah.
And there's a huge. I was just looking for like I was buying templates for something online, but like so much of it is kind of that, like, let's call it lo-fi style, right? It's especially if you're trying to appeal to the youths, everyone's all about that, right?
Yeah, so, it's like that nostalgic thing, and like kids growing up in 2000, they remember VHS.
Yeah, you still
tapes,
VHS and stuff, right?
Yeah, so you have to watch the whole movie backwards with no sound really fast before you watch the movie. We remember that, and it's kind of like tapping into your childhood. A lot of music and any art is just kind of being like, hey, this is a feeling that we all felt. Remember this type thing?
Yeah.
That is very much a thing with music, and I was thinking about this the other day with, like, let's call it generational music, right? Like when, like, for our parents, right, like they kind of had, like, let's say like Zeppelin, Hendrix, whoever else, maybe more into the 80s, right? But because I heard a song from, I believe the song was from about 2010, 2011, which was, we graduated 2011. And listening to it, it kind of took me back to a place mentally, like just being in high school, doing dumb shit at a party or whatever. But the song was like a really shitty song. Like pop music was kind of weird in the early 2010s.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, is this what's gonna like define our generation? But is this also when my parents hear like a Journey song or something, do they get this same feeling? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think it's kind of a cyclical thing.
Yeah.
With that song, sometimes you hate it in the moment,
Mhm.
like it's overplayed on the radio when you hear it, but then it brings you back to a time.
Yeah.
But I love the pop music from 2010 now. I thought it was super annoying.
Now it's
But
just
after kind of doing my research and diving into like what was going on in the producer side of things, I realized that a lot of it was made by this guy Benny Blanco.
Okay.
And that whole like Kesha, I think he did a bunch of stuff for Lady Gaga. I don't even have to guess because anything that has ever hit the radio from those people, like Justin Bieber, he probably had a hand in it because
Really? Okay.
his catalog is just insane, and he still makes music. I think he has a song out now where he's singing with Justin Bieber. He started to make his own personal music now, and it's nice that he's coming in the limelight. He's like this troll doll looking dude. Like, I'm sure he wouldn't be offended, and I'm sure he's not going to hear this, but he's this troll doll looking dude, and he's been in the back room for a while, and he kind of took this old keyboard, like those super annoying synths that you hear in like Kesha music and all that.
Yeah.
Katy Perry, like I Kissed a Girl type thing was him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he kind of that wasn't really going on in pop music. It was a lot of like singer songwriter, acoustic guitar stuff, and then he took like Euro pop, house music, all sorts of stuff, and just kind of put it into our genre because he's like, I think this is cool, and then the public, I guess, agreed. So
Yeah.
Gets
almost a formula that works and then just replicates it across multiple artists and
and
stuff.
and it's not even a formula. It's just like how he likes to
style, I
make
guess.
music.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
for me, like my worst songs that I made is when I'm trying to be someone else, or I kind of like am being I don't know, not confident in my own work, and I'm like, oh, I'll try to make a blah 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 type beat, or a like a type song where it's like, oh, I'm rapping like this. Like, no, I gotta be my own self, because people can smell when you're being disingenuous, right? They can hear it in your voice, or they can hear who you're trying to be like, and it's like, I'd rather just listen to them than
Yeah. Huh.
I think that's even like not even music, like if any kind of business or life thing, especially if you're trying, well, you should kind of always be yourself, but especially in like the content world, that's very much a thing too, right?
Yeah.
Like
for
people,
sure.
you can tell when someone's trying to be like someone else, like it's kind of put on it, and you can't keep it up, right?
Yeah.
Like
You can't.
it
You
just
think you
gets
can,
tiring,
but
right? So
it does.
No.
I don't know what quote it is or who it's from, but like I think about it almost every day, especially like when thinking about this sort of stuff, is like a man that always tells the truth, never has to remember what he said. And for me, like when I feel like I forget how to make a song or cover art or whatever, I just like calm down and be like, okay, what comes natural? Because that's your style, right? So in terms of content too, if you're like putting on a happy face all the time and things are going bad in your life, like it's going to be a stressful thing. Like, I have to upkeep this mask. But if you're real with your audience and it's like, you know what, guys, actually it's a horrible day today, I'm sure some of you can relate, and then you just push through it, then I'm sure they would appreciate that genuineness, I guess it would be.
Yeah, there's some words of wisdom there for sure. Because like we all know those people that are happy 24/7. You're like, no, you're not.
Those are the weirdest people.
You're like, no, you're not, man.
Like, I know people that are genuine and curious and like nice all the time, but like those ones that are just like, you catch them, go around a corner and they're actually like on their phone, they're like super sad looking. I'm like, come on, man, like just calm down. You don't have to put on a mask, right? Unless it's Corona time. I don't know.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that part has really improved people's eye contact, though. I think.
For
so,
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking about like the eye smiling or whatever.
Yeah.
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 Smizing. It's a big
Smizing.
thing.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Ask Tyra Banks about it. I don't know. There's some YouTube video out there where
really?
she's like, "All right, I'm not smiling with my eyes. Now I'm smiling with my eyes." And
Oh
she
my
doesn't
God.
even move. It's
Oh
so
my
funny.
Yeah, it's really trippy. I mean, like I just got a new job at like at a clothing store, and I've never seen what any of my coworkers look like.
Shit.
Oh damn! Yeah,
I
shit.
don't
I
know
never
what
even
my-
thought about that.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Like when you meet new people, it's like, all right. And I mean, there's a lot of things about like, I mean, hopefully you're not going to bars all the time or whatever, but like, you see someone, you don't know what they look like, right, type thing. But
Yeah.
Damn, I did not even think of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't fully know what they look like, and that'd be like strangers on the street. Who cares? But
Yeah.
that's a really interesting context. That thought did not cross my mind at all until now.
Yeah.
and it's a part of body language. I mean,
Yeah,
like I was in
yeah.
an interview and I was like, can we go in the cafeteria, like get something to eat so we're allowed to like take off our masks type thing, you know? But yeah, but when I got like the stubble going on or whatever, I look in the mirror, I'm like, wait, no one's actually gonna see this. Like I can just cover it up with a mask and I'm good to go. So.
Exactly. I have kind of the similar but opposite thing where, because I wear more like bandana style masks and stuff, so it covers my beard. And I was getting my ID checked at the liquor store, and the gal was like, "Oh, you still got that beard under there?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's still here." And then I was somewhere else, I had to get my ID checked, and they're like, she's like, "Oh, you look so different clean shaven." I'm like, "Nah, beard's still under here."
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should get a mask with a picture of you clean shaven.
There's an
under it.
idea.
Oh, that's a good
That
idea.
would be
I
fucking
saw
funny.
someone walking around. They had like the creepiest looking smile, like, but it was like a photorealistic one
Oh,
on the
okay.
mask. So this guy just like going about his day, but he just looks like a weirdo. But I guess that's,
There's some weird fucking masks out there.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to make my own, like put this like logo on a mask, but in the that was at the beginning of the pandemic, and I'm like, yeah, by the time they ship, like, you know, it's gonna be over type thing.
It's kind of.
And now I'm like, I don't know, or is anyone ever gonna go back to not wearing
Not wearing a
masks?
mask?
Especially like thieves. Like, why would they stop?
Yeah.
Like, why would they like?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I can conceal my face in public, and no one's gonna look at me weird. I'm just really particular about Corona, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
like, I'll make it for them.
They
I
have the
guess.
ultimate excuse. Yeah.
No, you're probably okay because Bill Gates says it's going to be 10 more years today.
Bill
What?
Gates
Yeah.
is not gonna live 10 more years. Actually, I don't know. I hope he's all G. But that's when I hear those sort of things, especially with like the old dudes in power.
Yeah.
It's like they run the world, but like they don't even get to see it too much longer. Like we have to live through it.
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing. I've been thinking about it, and like it can be funny, but also on a serious note, it's just like they have the power, and we have to like pay their interest rates or whatever they said. I barely even know how the world works. I'm 20, but like,
Yeah.
come on, like you guys are old fucks. Like just let us, just whatever, just. Let us dye our hair, respect our pronouns. You're only here for like 2 more years. I don't know.
You bring a valid point, or like, it's like when it's the presidential debate, and you're like, realistically, do either of these guys have 4 more years of
exactly.
life?
Like this
Like,
guy's 74, this guy's 80.
Yeah,
What's going on?
Yeah, like what are they racing for? Like,
it's an interesting thing.
Like,
Yeah,
go to bed.
they won't see.
The
won't-
race has already
like,
been
don't you
run
want to
now.
retire at some point?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's I guess
because
not.
that's stressful.
but-
Like we saw, like 8 years age Obama, like so.
Oh,
heavy.
yeah.
This guy was like
It-
30 when he went in, like 60 when he came
Yeah,
out.
dude,
like,
he looked great, and then he was like so great,
Yeah.
and just like
and like,
yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
think Trump might be like a wax doll or something that they're just controlling. But also, like, who's controlling him? Like, how does he, like, he doesn't help.
He's
nobody,
a little too sporadic, I think, maybe. So
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. No, I see your point, and they won't see any of their plans, even if, let's say, successful, whatever that may look like, come to fruition, anyways, right? So
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing.
It's interesting. But yeah, politics, Corona. What's up? What else, guys? Like,
True. That's all anyone talks about now. So I
Exactly.
try to avoid that, but
Yeah. Oh man, it's been interesting, that's for sure. So are you doing performances again, or?
not really. If I was asked to do one, I probably would, depending on the situation. I mean, like, I love performing. I like to make songs different for when I do perform. I love, like, I did some like on stage stuff with the mic and the backing track, and that's cool. But I got to do this thing with Zion Series, which is like a series of like open mics that go to different cafes and stuff, and they let me like use their piano and do kind of like piano versions of my songs, and that was a lot more fun because it was like intimate. Like I could mess up and I could like talk to the audience. It wasn't like, okay, DJ,
was
stop
sick.
the track type thing. So
There's gonna be some creative shit that comes from it for sure.
oh yeah, like there's already been like sort of live stream concerts.
Mhm.
I think Joji has one coming up called like the Extravaganza. I actually don't even know if it's a concert. It looks like it's gonna be like a movie thing.
Oh,
And then
interesting.
also like Young Lean performed in the back of a moving truck, and it was live streamed. Like it was.
Oh, okay.
It was like a
Was
bunch
it moving around?
No, it was just parked like somewhere in like I don't know. Young Lean's crazy. I don't know if you know that guy, but he's just.
I can't say I do.
He's
Joji is. Was that Filthy Frank?
Filthy Frank turned
Okay.
like vibey lo-fi
Yeah,
making
yeah.
guy. But yeah, Young Lean did a back of a moving truck and it was live streamed. But at the same time, that guy does some weird stuff to where I think he would have done that with or without Corona. You know, I think he had it planned because
Yeah.
it was like a week into Corona. I'm like, all right, but
Yeah, I don't really. I don't know. I don't exactly follow his stuff anymore.
it's
but-
hard to explain Young Lean. I mean, it's just he's kind of like a meme turned like actually like like similar to Filthy Frank.
Okay.
But he's from Sweden, and he just had this crew called like the Sad Boys, and they would drink Arizona iced tea and wear bucket hats, and they made
Definitely set a trend there, I think.
yeah,
but
and they would use the VHS cameras like we were saying,
Yeah.
and just make kind of like SoundCloud, but like before SoundCloud was like a known thing, like oh you're a SoundCloud rapper, like we kind of have a idea in our head what that is.
Mhm.
This kid was just like, well, I don't know how to put stuff on Spotify. I'll just put it on SoundCloud, and then just
Mhm.
kind of made a wave and put some music videos out. And then I think he's got like a small feature part on Frank Ocean's Blonde, which is crazy because there's only like 3 people that are on that
Oh,
other than
sick,
Frank
okay.
Ocean. So
yeah.
yeah, Young Lean's crazy. He's got like an album. I forget what it's even called, but I saw it in Urban Outfitters, like the vinyl, and he's just pushing music forward because he's never cared like from the jump. Like he never had to do a switch up where it's like, oh, I'm different now. I don't care now. It's like, no, this
Yeah.
guy was like making not even cringe videos, but just like very low budget stuff, and it just took off. And then he got to rap with his favorite rappers. But
Was his early stuff like Filthy Frank, where it was more like funny memes
it
or
wasn't
whatever,
even
or
like
no?
a joke. It was just like so far from like what anyone's ever seen because it was
Interesting.
just he was making stuff. I mean, I'm not like a Young Lean historian. Like I wish, and I say that because like there's diehard fans that like know everything about his life, and I'm just kind of, a bystander, and I like some of the songs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But he was just making stuff for his friends, it seemed, and
Yeah.
kind of just he put it in the public, and it took off. So, yeah,
Interesting. Damn.
which could happen to anyone.
Yeah.
It happens every
absolutely.
single day.
Yeah. Literally every day.
Yeah.
Like you gotta kind of ride that wave of. And so I was looking up a quote, and I want to say it before our conversation moves too far, but
sure.
it kind of goes with the like old guys.
Yeah.
And it's a ancient Greek proverb, and it goes, "A society grows great when old men plant trees in whose shade they know they shall never sit."
Huh.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
that's super.
I don't know if Trump and Biden are planning on doing that, but
I don't know if they.
I don't
Trump,
know. I like
they've-
it. I like
they
this
planted
one.
a single tree in their lives, man. I think that's how we should measure people's worth. Like, how many trees did you plant? How many 10-tree clothing items do you own? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you don't even have to fucking
Is
plant
that
the tree
brand still
anymore.
a thing?
I think
I
so.
hope it's not.
It is.
I'm
though.
gonna make a
It
brand
is.
called Negative 10 Trees, where like if you buy it, I'll burn down 10
Yeah,
trees.
I will
bro.
personally go start a forest.
Yeah,
fire.
it's definitely a thing because on
Yeah.
Instagram I follow them and they just they're still doing stuff. So.
Yeah.
It's nice. I just don't like the way people walk around with it on like they did something. Like,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
still sweatshop clothes. Like, like what? I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I mean, if you wear 10 tree, if you've got like 50 10 tree items, then you got like 5,000 trees planted. That's cool, guys.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
Your intentions are good, but it's kind of the irony of, complaining about whatever system tweeting from your iPhone that
That's
was
the
built
thing.
in a
Yeah.
sweatshop, so on
Yeah.
and so
Yeah,
forth.
it's like,
Fucking go communism, but you're fucking on this
exactly.
thing.
It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yo, I got my 10 tree shirt dirty. Well, what'd you do? Were you planting trees? Like, no, I was just at a party.
yeah.
Kudos to them, but
Yeah, but we were talking about the riding the wave thing, like this the dog face guy from the cranberry juice longboarding guy.
yeah,
I've
yeah,
seen
Because he
that.
has like he had the last time I looked like 1 million followers.
Yeah, I think he had like some sort of following before that, and then
Like I think he was a bit active on TikTok, but it was
Yeah.
nothing. Like it exploded, but someone went and interviewed him, and he's like, "Yeah, man, like I know this is temporary, but I'm just gonna
just
Yeah.
ride
enjoy
the
it,
wave.
catch the
Yeah.
wave, kind of thing."
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool. I like how TikTok's kind of created its own culture within the past year. I think like it's been around for like 2 or 3 years. I think it was a different app before, but over quarantine, or even before, I was like obsessed with it for a second because it's just so different from like we've been on Twitter, we've been on Instagram, we know what that feels like. It's like a building you step into, and it's like, all right, so I'm gonna see this sort of content. And I'm glad that Instagram got like super political with the Black Lives Matter stuff. Like now I can't go through a story without seeing like someone post an infographic, not even about racial stuff, but just like mental health, all this sort of thing. It's like the story repost, or at least for the people that I follow, is very prominent now. But sometimes like that's not the type of content you're looking for. Like you don't want to change the world like as soon as you woke up in the morning.
You just want to laugh
while you're in the washroom.
Dank memes, right?
Yeah.
Like,
So TikTok's a little less, it's a little more lighthearted. But like it's been, like from the ground up, it's kids. Like kids run that shit, and which is great because now you have a social media for like whatever age group you're in. Like if you're an old head, like go on Facebook only. Just fight with people over politics. I don't know.
Comment wars, hot takes.
Yeah, and then if you're kind of hip with it, like, and if you like what the new kids are doing, like go on TikTok. But even with that dog face guy, he's like, you know, I don't know how old he is, but he kind of embraced
middle-aged-ish.
Yeah, he embraced the culture.
Yeah,
it's just so weird how that video is so relatable but so unrelatable at the exact same time. Like,
it's so weird. It was such a weird video. It took me a while to get it. Like,
yeah,
I saw it reshared and I'm like, what is this? And then it exploded like the next week or whatever. So.
Yeah, like
But you
drinking
also
cranberry
get it,
juice,
just doing nothing.
Yeah,
Fucking longboarding on the road.
But it's the perfect song though. I mean, like the Fleetwood Mac, Dreams. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Dreams, man. I've been listening to that all summer. Like my girlfriend turned me back onto it, and it's like I don't know why that song is just. It's the perfect blend of like it almost sounds like a country song, but you're not like country if you listen to it. It reminds me of like being on the farm, like with my grandparents and like what the type of music that would play in the radio. But at the same time, it's like it's pop, but it's also vintage. But like I don't know. An interesting thing about that is that they looped the hi-hats, which in today's music you just type in the hi-hats, they're always perfect, like on the grid. But that was one of the first times they were like, all right, instead of having the drummer like play the hi-hats, we'll just loop. I think it's like he just plays it like 4 times and loops throughout the whole song.
Get it perfect. And then...
Yeah, and they put a little effect on it. So for me, like the first thing that happens in that song, you kind of hear the drums kick in, and it's unmistakable. Like I know that song for the first 2 seconds. And it's weird that they started doing the looping hi-hats like way before anyone else, and that's kind of
really interesting.
I think that's.
Do you know what year that song is from?
I think it's 70s, right?
Okay,
it's Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac is 70s,
it's gotta
80s.
Be, yeah.
I'm quite sure 70s.
Yeah, because I don't know, when something like hits my ear a certain way, I like kind of want to know why type thing. And I also found out that like that band is like, bro, it's like I think there's like 3 guys and 2 girls in it, and like 2 of like they're it's like
77.
Okay.
77.
So like I think the lady that sings that song, the Dreams one, she's like singing it about the guitar player in that band, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And then also like there's one guy that's not involved and he's not dating anyone, but like there's another couple or like a married couple that got divorced or whatever, and they still
in the band
play together.
Yeah,
there's
you're
something
correct about that.
like that.
Yeah.
Well, fucking Stevie Nicks is from
Stevie Nicks. I think that's
Yeah.
who's singing in the Dreams song.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, I don't know if it's not like I'm dating myself. I'm just proving how young I am. I'm like, I don't know, Stevie Nicks.
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
you know, everyone probably knows the lore behind it, but I thought it was interesting that like this guy's got to like play guitar to that song about him.
About himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they got the song like The Chain, where it's like
That's a great song too.
yeah,
a good song.
and what I hear in the lyrics is basically like, yeah, we have so much drama within our group, but like the music keeps us together. I think that's a lyric of like the chain keeps us together type thing. And they open their concerts with that because it's like it's real, you know. And
that was because last year they eventually came to Rogers, but without one of the main members didn't come or something like that.
Yeah.
And the show kept getting delayed because they like couldn't agree to contract terms or whatever. It was they kind of had their drama issues.
yeah, but
as a
it's
band,
been a
but
while. Like even in the
absolutely.
production of that album, it was like, you know, tensions were high, and sometimes that like when you're in a group, I couldn't imagine, you know, like up until now where the Fruity Loops era, like you could just get tight beats, rap on it, you can be your own independent artist. You always kind of needed someone, whether it's a DJ and a rapper, or a whole punk band.
Yeah.
You always, like, music was always a collaborative thing, but now people are just coming out of their bedrooms with it, and they're doing their exactly what they want to do, unless they're shooting for a certain sound. There's people making the weirdest stuff, and I love it. You know, at this point on Spotify, like, if you ask me to play stuff in the car, I'm like, I don't even know what do normal people like anymore. Because for me, I just seek out, like, the weirder it is, the better. Like, because if it's something I never heard before, it feels like you're learning, right? Like, if I hear a song, it's like, oh, that kind of sounds like that. It's like, yeah, that's, you know, that's what it sounds like for that mood, for that scenario. That's cool. But when I hear some kid, like, with crazy layers of auto tune on, and he's rapping over like an acoustic guitar for some reason, and then, like, I don't even know. It's just, is
it good? Is it, like, melodically pleasing to the ear, or is it just different?
It's
kind of thing?
It's different. Like, I wouldn't listen to anything that's, like, not pleasing. You know, there's a way to make anything sound good. But the fact that, like if it's unique enough and it sounds good, it proves to me that they had to go through that trial and error. Because, like, even if you're making a song that's, you know, cut and dry, sounds like every rock song or every rap song, like, you're probably not going to be the best ever your first try, you know?
No.
I was going through this thing last night where I'm organizing my files, and I found, like, my first songs.
Oh, yeah? How was that?
It was trippy because, like, my voice super shaky, the mic gains up too loud, sounds like I'm screaming into it, even though I'm, like, whispering. Mixing's terrible, but, like, I had so many, like the lyrics, like, I had so many lyrics written down for so long when I was making beats, until someone came into my life and was like, oh, why don't you got, you know, these, do you want to rap on this? And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. Like, I was just in a room with someone who had a mic and they knew how to record people, and I'm like, oh, yeah, load up my beat. I actually have, like, a verse written for this. And it's been, like, verses that I was like, toiling over on the bus stop for, like, 2 years, and then I finally got to get it out. So it's almost like better lyrics than I have now, because now I kind of make the beat, think of the hook and the lyrics kind of all in one sitting. But these were ones that were, like, refined, and I had memorized it, and it was every time the beat played, I'd be, like, kind of thinking it, but I didn't have the confidence to rap yet. And actually, the song that is coming out November 11th, like, it's one of those verses. I wrote it to a beat that's, like, already out on one of my albums, and I had wrote it to the entire song, and then recently I was making a beat, and then that kind of verse popped in my head, and it's ingrained, like, I know it off by heart, and I just kind of rapped the whole thing with, like, the confidence that I have now, like, 2 years into making this stuff, and I think the product was pretty good, so I'm excited for that to come out, because technically it's the song's, like, 3 years in the making, 2 years, I don't even know.
Damn, interesting. Yeah.
I think the issue is that, like, people are afraid to put shit out, you know, like, before it's ready. And and I think that, like, nothing is ever 100%.
No.
So you just gotta,
the right time.
yeah, you just kind of gotta, like, start it and get it going.
It's that, like, learning curve that people talk about.
Yeah.
And the curve, it's funny because people think it's like a hump, like an obstacle you gotta get over, and sometimes it is, but the curve is really, like, exponential, right? Like, if you're starting to make music, your first song is going to be your worst song, and the second one is going to be your second worst song, but you're going to probably improve and, like, make them 4 times, 8 times better, right? So that makes you want to not release the first one or the second one, because, you know, you're like, oh, or even the one you're working on right now, because it's like, oh, I know the next one's going to be better, right?
Yeah.
Like, I have a lot of ideas in the hard drive where I'm like, oh, I could refine this, I could turn it into something. It's like, or I could start from scratch from what I've learned doing that or making that mistake, and just put the effort into the new one, right? So it's almost like you're outrunning yourself type thing. Like, you're making better and better content, and you're like, hey, when do I start showing the world this? Like, I've dug myself in a hole, because I have like I have 2 finished albums, like, completely finished, and I've got a new one that's, like, I made it this summer, and I really like it, and I think it's better than anything I've ever made. So, like, what do? Like, I like those other 2 albums. Do I release it in chronological order with how I made it, so people can hear the progression? Or do I just go back, refine those with the ones that with the skills that I have now?
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to do the second option, because some of the albums are like seasonal based. Like, I can't drop this one in the summer. It's got to be like a winter, gloomy vibe, or there's an album where it's like, oh, this is for sure, like you can only listen to this on the beach, like it's got to come out in August or whatever. So you know, it's about keeping stuff in the backlog, because it's an infinite resource. Like if you find your creativity and you find your the way you like to make things, and like I said, the originality, you can kind of calm down and just get into that groove and make what you want to make, then it's an infinite resource.
Yeah, damn. I think it might be a little bit of a double-edged sword, though, like, because you want to put stuff out, and at some point you need to put something out, right? Yeah. But then there's kind of the, like, oh, well, I can always make more or make another one, right? Like, or always kind of just that of, like, oh, this one's pretty good, but I could just start totally scratch or what, like, I don't know, it can kind of become a bit of a self-fulfilling loop too.
Yeah, I think
there's a bit
of
into
it.
Yeah, and there's a bit of a fear of, like, I know for me, like, putting something out there, because you're kind of like using it, because the
it's
world,
like a seed, you know.
Yeah, but you like, the world moves pretty fast, especially the online world. So like, you know, and this is more for, like, because our content is a little more shorter timeline, right? A song could last 50 years, right?
Yeah, hopefully
right,
it's timeless.
exactly. Yeah, timeless, yeah. But even so, like, you put it out and people be like, oh, this is really good or really cool, but then the next thing comes along eventually anyways. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I just think it's practice either way. Like, if it sees the light of day or not, you learn something throughout the, you know, like they say, you learn something new every day. Like, you really do. And I think people aren't being as intentional nowadays with, like, I think you really got to ask yourself at the end of the day, like, what did I learn? Like, maybe I should write it down so I don't forget it and I don't have to relearn it, right? So when you're making content, like, even if you make, like, I find myself still just making something, and the next morning I hear it and I'm like, what was that? That was garbage. Like, what was I thinking? But at the same time, like, I probably learned a new trick in my production software, or there's even, like, album covers I put out where I'm like, oh my god, like, as soon as I release it, I'm like, oh, I should change that, you know. And I'm actually going in the process of, like, refining some cover art and emailing some people and getting that changed on Spotify. But I still learn. Like, I learned that that's not the cover art that I want for that song, right, or that album, right?
Well, I think creativity kind of begets more creativity too. Like, exactly, as you create more, it's just easier to, you know, create. And that's kind of something I fucking posted a tweet. I'm probably dating myself today about that. I was like, that's kind of something that just came into my mind too. It's like, I want to do more, whatever it is. I want to post more on Instagram, for example. Yep. It's just easier if you just keep doing it.
Oh, for sure.
You know, it's like, if I want to write more blog articles, just easier if you keep writing.
Yeah, you just start today, right?
Yeah.
Like, another one of my favorite quotes is, like, and it's about planting trees as well, funny enough. But it's like, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, and the second best time is right now. Yeah. Because you didn't do it 20 years ago. And if you're going to talk about planting trees, or buy a clothing brand that says that by buying it you planted 10 trees, then, you know, like, you just go out and plant a tree with that effort, or that time of day that you could use it for planting trees, I guess. I don't fucking know. Go plant a tree is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got the fucking title for the show, so we're all good.
You're
planting trees are true.
Yeah, I don't know. The time passes either way. You get older, you might as well do something, right?
Yeah,
dude. Enjoy, useful, whatever it is. So
yeah. Well, fuck, man. Like, when I was your age, I wish I had started what I'm
doing something.
Exactly.
Right? So,
you know.
Yeah, because then you'd be like 5 years deep in it, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's always shit. It's even for me, some stuff in my business that I'm starting, like, now. I've had the idea to do it for like 4 or 5 years. I'm like, I would be so much further along if I just did it, right? Like, but I just spent time overanalyzing, overthinking it too, right? So
it's a perfectionist thing. Like, I was watching a video today on perfectionism, and it's just like, it was an interesting concept. It's like, take like a drawing, right? Like, you have a blank piece of paper, a marker, and an idea in your head. As soon as you touch the marker to the page, the page isn't blank anymore. It's sullied by some sort of mark that you made, and then the image in your head, it's starting to get translated, but it's not going to be perfect.
Quite there.
And that's like, it can lead into procrastination, which I think is the overall idea is just like, just start, you know?
Yeah.
Because you can still scrap that and just start a new one, but you can't just think about making the drawing or thinking about doing the thing forever. Like, go do it today, right?
Yeah.
There's a great book, and it's written by an author, and it's about writing, and it's called The War of Art, and it's all about resistance, but resistance is basically procrastination, more or less. But it's a really, really fantastic book. I would recommend it for anyone, really, and especially if you're like more like an artist or something.
War of Art.
Yeah, I'll send you the details for it, but it's really interesting.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. I think it's familiar, but also there's a book called Art of War, so I think that's like a play on.
It is the play on words.
It is a play on words intentionally. Yeah, it's a little different than the Sun Tzu book. Yeah.
I'm gonna read them like one page each. Like go back and
see
forth.
how they compare.
I'll tell you, the one by Sun Tzu is like 90 pages long. So yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's a very short book.
Bro, I saw the weirdest stuff. My homie was in a concert and he's so weird, but everyone's jumping up and down moshing, and he's just on his phone on like the Kindle app just reading Art of War. And I'm like, dog, like why? Like, you're trying so hard to be mysterious right now. Like, come on.
Was he doing it like for an Instagram post?
No, he was actually just doing it. That's actually how he is. But yeah, it was funny.
That's funny.
Fuck.
Because I'm bouncing around, I can barely see stuff. I look, I'm like, are you reading Art of War right now? He's like, yeah. I'm like, don't look at me like that's a normal thing to do.
Yeah,
right?
no shit, eh?
Yeah, what else would I be doing? Yeah.
The ultimate of introverts.
Yeah.
Honestly, good for him. Do your thing.
I mean, get it in how you can, you know? You can't be thinking about reading Art of War. You got to do it today. Like, you got to do it while you're at a concert.
Well, at least he's not listening to the Audible version, I guess.
I mean, that's good too. Like, if you can't use your hands or something, you know, you're running or something, like, the audiobook is cool.
Yeah.
I feel like you can just zone out, but you can also zone out while reading. When you don't. You start
like
thinking
the
about
meme
stuff.
where it's like, I read 2 pages and I don't know. I was thinking about groceries or whatever.
Yeah,
right? So,
and that's the worst.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to like music when I read, but like music with no lyrics, like different, either like binaural beats or just like deep house music with no words or something.
Nice.
And I find that mostly avoids the like reading a full page but thinking about something completely different.
Yeah, it like gets you in a rhythm.
Kind of, yeah. That's a good word for that.
Yeah,
it kind of hones me in, I find.
Shuts up your subconscious, maybe?
That might be exactly what it is, actually.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the science behind it.
Maybe you only got so much like brain capacity for like listening to this, reading this. You can't like listen to your own thoughts, but
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Super cool stuff.
Yeah.
Planting trees.
Planting trees. I like it. You by the way, you said put this logo on a mask. Is this your logo?
So like this hoodie I'm wearing, there's a video. Shouts out. But yeah, it's this company I'm trying to help create. It's called Atlas Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
It's still in the beginning stages. I like to have like all my graphics and all my like stuff ready first, but I originally made this hoodie like during the Black Lives Matter movement stuff on Instagram, to where I feel like I couldn't post nothing about my own music. I'm like, this is not the right place for this. You got to read the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to release these hoodies eventually anyways when I like created the brand and registered the business and the website. But I'm like, okay, well, you know, this organization needs the funds now. So I made the hoodie and donate all the proceeds to Black Lives Matter. So, if you see it around Edmonton, people wearing this exact hoodie, I think I made like 50 or 60 of them.
Oh, damn.
So that's kind of like the base. I'm going to start making stickers and handing them out just to get the logo in people's minds and you know, the Atlas name. And then the studio we were talking about, it's going to be under that too, so Atlas Studios.
Okay. So is it tied with the studio?
It's tied. I'm trying to like...
what's the kind of message or whatever with it?
Yeah, like I'm now these days I'm trying to be like my friend, like more mysterious about things.
Yeah.
Because I think there's like a level of control to that.
Yeah.
You know, like there's certain artists that release stuff or talk about everything on interviews, and then there's like Frank Ocean, who like never does interviews and releases every like 6 years.
Yeah.
And it's kind of more like sought after. But at the same time, one of my favorite things to do is just go to like an artist I like, scrub through like their old interviews like no one's ever seen because they did it on like an old podcast or a YouTube video, or some fan came and they really are more like before they hit that fame and that like upper echelon, they really give away all the information about stuff. So for the first time talking about it with you guys, I mean, I'm just trying to get the Atlas stuff to be like kind of look like I'm still trying to get my thoughts in order, but I want it to be like the coolest looking charity brand or charity organization, because I feel like there's a lot of, there's Tentry, there's like there's certain like things that are a good cause, but it's like kind of corny, and I want to make like good quality garments and clothes, but that the proceeds go to a good cause, because then it's kind of a, there's multiple reasons to buy it, and you feel good about yourself, and you look good, and also the same way I hate old dudes that are trying to control the world when they're not going to be here around. Like, I don't like organizations, so I'm kind of putting it as like an anti-organization because when you're like an independent person, you don't got all that much power, right? Like your car insurance is getting racked up because some dude like decided to make a car insurance company, get a bunch of people working under him, and now he's a super powerful person. It's a skyscraper downtown, and you're just one person, right? So when corporations, which we all know, like run the world, run politicians, they can get corrupt and get evil really quick, and the only way to combat that is to like organize yourself, and it goes back to like the Black Lives Matter stuff. Like, I saw a lot of organization between people like that have no history of like knowing how like politics works. They educated each other, through Instagram. They put these resources out. They made these posts like who you can call to get things to change, who you can vote into office to get these laws passed. And I think, there's like, we might not see it for a couple years, but those effects are going to ripple. And I think it's important to get like the youth like organized and show like you're not just one person. Like, if you get a couple friends together, you start a band, start a collective, you can make it more, and you have a better chance than just yourself. Or if you want to start a clothing brand, like, get your friends together, because I've seen it happen a bunch. And even with you guys, I feel like you got two people working on the podcast. So if one of you kind of doesn't want to do it one day, the other one's like, hey, well, we decided to do this, right? You hold each other accountable. So I want to take all the positive aspects of like forming an organization or a group and kind of use that to change all these things that have happened in the world that other organizations are not helping, like women's shelters, famine, racial issues. Those are all things I want to donate to through the clothing brand. So that's kind of the super long explanation, but
okay, cool.
I'm sure it's going to get more concise and more mysterious soon when the but for right now, that's just the vision. It's just propaganda. It's just putting out the logo, getting it in people's minds, and making them wonder. Like, I want people to be confused. I mean, people that listen to this podcast will be like, okay, well, now I know what it means now. But you guys are hip. Like, when you see this around, you'll see it in the city. You'll see people wearing it, and you're like, okay, I know what that represents. But I'm gonna flood the market with the logo so much that people will be like, oh, I see this everywhere. What does it mean? Blah blah blah. And then, when they find out, they'll feel, oh, okay, I'm cool. I know what it means. Other people don't, because 2 minutes ago they didn't know what it meant, right? So,
yeah, people do those with stickers at Tim Hortons all the time. Yeah, they fucking put the
they put it on the thing. Yeah,
like,
or in the Remedy bathroom.
Or the Remedy bathroom.
That's the spot.
Remedy bathroom's funny.
Yeah, like, my whole inspiration is like the Obey clothing brand.
Yeah.
To where it's just like Andre the Giant's face just posted up. Like, Shepherd
kind
Fairey.
Of call it a guerrilla marketing sort of
guerrilla
thing.
Marketing, exactly. Yeah, this guy knows.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot Obey did that, but I believe they did a vaguely similar strategy.
Like, it was called Obey Propaganda. Like,
it
was like, okay, if big corporations and government bodies can do propaganda, then why can't I? Like, I got wheat paste, and I could put this big stencil on buildings and make people curious about what it is. So, yeah.
So the logo, if I can describe it, it's obviously a globe on fire, and it has kind of a wreath around it that reminds me of like the Roman insignia. Is that
it's
what
like
it's
olive leaves? Like, I was kind of inspired by the United Nations. Like,
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah. I didn't really look at the logo while I was creating it, but afterwards, I was like, hey, here's the similarities, here's the differences. But I just wanted to make something that looked cool, and then with the flames on it, it's just representing like resetting the simulation. Like starting new. Because, and then I like I just recently found out like the word apocalypse like really means like lifting of the veil type thing. Like it doesn't mean the end of the world. It just means like the end of the world as we know it. And we see a lot of injustices and crazy things happening in this world right now. So it's like, okay, well, maybe the earth isn't going to explode, but like if we saw the end to the stuff that's going on right now, you could call it an apocalypse, but I think it would probably be a good thing as long as something better is in return, right? So the reason like the globe's like made of grids and it doesn't have like, you know, land masses on it, it's because it's like a simulated universe, which I don't know, argue amongst yourselves if we're in a simulation. But you know, if we were to set the simulation on fire, because right now the simulation's glitching out, like look what's going on, then we're gonna build whatever's going on next, right? So yeah, big ideas, but you gotta like start. You gotta like shoot ideas. Big, right? Like if your ideas aren't big, then it's like even if you achieve them, you still did like some small shit. So for me, I'm like, I don't get carried away like, oh, I'm gonna be the biggest artist ever thing. But like when I'm alone, when I'm running on the treadmill and I'm trying to like pump myself full of good thoughts, I'm like, okay, you're gonna step on your enemies, you're gonna conquer the world, you're gonna grow to 200 feet. You know, if that's your goal,
absolutely,
you're gonna land short of it, but you still did something amazing, right? So yeah,
wise words.
Wise.
Like yeah, that's cool, man. Damn. What is it? It's kind of a like a cliche poster of like, you know, what is it? Aim for the stars, and if you miss, you'll be on the roof or something.
I think it's like shoot for the moon. If you miss, you'll land amongst the stars.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
I'm just full of stupid quotes that are like,
but like
roll off the tongue.
Sometimes those kind of the like cheesy old posters you would see, like motivational ones, and like a simple sentence like that, there's actually sometimes like a profound, deeper meaning to them.
There's truth in cliches, right?
Yeah. There really is.
They might be the most true shit because you hear them all the time. They get annoying, right? And it's super annoying when you have to like relearn those. Like when you go through a situation and you finally figured out what was wrong and what you did wrong, and you're like, damn, if I just hung in there like the fucking cat poster said, then I would have, made it through, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes things are annoying because they're true, right? Like the whole you can do anything. Like a lot of people say that with sarcasm now, and they're like, oh, you can do anything you put your mind to it. It's like, well, shit. Why do we say that sarcastically now?
No,
like,
you literally can do whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
You can plausibly make an income doing it with the internet and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, even before, like, if you worked really hard, I mean, you could even create something create a demand for something. Like if someone went up to Steve Jobs and he's like, oh, I'm gonna make this phone, it's gonna have fucking no buttons and blah blah blah, and like they'd be like, yeah, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Like
no buttons.
No button, not even one.
Yeah.
And you open it with your face, like, bro.
Well, it had that one fucking home button.
Yeah. Mine still does. It's OG. It's like
there you go.
It's the SE. It has like
nice.
The internal's the 11, so it's super quick.
But yeah, that's like a newer one, isn't it? Like they took a bit of a step back to give the.
I had the other SE that was like the 5.
The 5, but
the internals of the 6. And everyone was clowning me because my phone's like smaller than anyone else's phone.
Yeah.
And but it's great, you know.
Yeah.
The next big thing, like, we don't know what's gonna happen yet, you know. Like the same thing with Steve Jobs and shit. Like,
well, if you really take a step back and try to describe an iPhone, if you were to teleport back to 1977.
Yeah.
And
Stevie Nicks is there.
Yeah. Try to explain an iPhone to 1977 Stevie Nicks, right? It's this thing that you can contact all your friends all the time, no matter where you are.
Yeah.
And you open it with your face. You just no. You just look at it to open it.
And it's a calculator.
And there's no buttons. It's a calculator.
Camera and a flashlight.
It has a camera.
Yeah.
Right?
You can't even stocks on it.
Yeah. Exactly, right? So imagine someone flashes into this room from the year 2040 trying to explain the computer chips or whatever they have. Like it's something that's so like beyond concept when you really think about it.
Like if President Kanye comes back from the future and he starts explaining his moon shoes and shit, like you know, I hope this shit happens, man. When people were saying like when Trump started, like, oh, he's throwing a wrench in the system, it's like, yeah, he fucking did.
Yep.
You want another one? Like, let's go.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Honestly, I think people are so apathetic it probably will happen.
What?
So.
President Kanye.
I want him
yeah.
to drop like so many, like inauguration day, like he performs
Yeah.
type shit.
Yeah.
Oh, it would just be the best. Cause like I don't know, like the world's so weird already, but like why are we scared of weird shit? And almost like Kanye is a given. Like he's gonna do some weird shit.
He's gonna be Kanye, right?
He's gonna be Kanyeing around, and like I love it, you know, because it doesn't affect me. Like he's not gonna be my president. Like,
Just the president of 350 million people or whatever,
you know,
right?
but like, look at this guy
Yeah.
beforehand. Like, you know, let's just continue to throw wrenches until the shit like explodes, and it's like, all right, okay, we're redoing politics. Like we're resetting it. Like we'll
Yeah.
do something else. He
Mhm.
gave us this orange guy and Kanye West. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Because he will be legitimately on the ballot.
I think
correct?
he's already like wishful thinking, but like I think he's tweeted some stuff out where he's like percentage wise in the early voting stages, like he's passed Biden and Trump in certain
Yeah.
states, but it was like a weird state. It was like Arkansas or something. Like, okay, well if they want Kanye, then hell yeah.
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 Well, yeah, because I guess he's running independent, right? So
The birthday party.
the birthday party, that's what it is.
The birthday
It'd be
party.
funny to see what kind of results he actually gets. So
I mean, yeah, but
I
at the
think
same
I
time,
think he'll surprise people. I think he might get like
he always
a couple
surprises
million,
people. That's
you
a
know?
given.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's never not surprised
Mhm.
anyone ever, right?
yeah.
Well, I think we'll get third place.
You think so? You think he'll
I
beat
hope there's
like,
an award
like
for
Joe
it. I hope he gets a
Jorgensen?
medal
Yeah.
or some
Well,
shit.
there are like multiple people running for president. You just don't hear about
Yeah,
them.
I
right?
thought there was
exactly.
like two.
No, there's like
There's-
there's a libertarian
There's
party.
libertarian. There's like
yeah.
their equivalent of the Green Party, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
Yeah.
My whole thing, I'm confused why like this election process doesn't it feel like short? Like, you know, remember
did
4
see-
years ago? Like, or
I think
guess-
this is a
I-
time warp though.
I think it was
It
the
is.
time warp of 2020,
but
but
at the
I
same
see where you're
time,
going.
like so much, like when people say COVID happened to like distract from the elections, like I don't buy that. But at the same time, like it's super convenient, and it did, like it actually
Mhm.
did distract from the elections because 2016 election year,
well, it's
it
all
started in
anybody talks.
2015.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like when it started with, oh my God, Trump's running, but didn't he do it already? Okay, whatever. And then like there's so many, there's like Bernie Sanders and Hillary and like a bunch of people,
Mhm.
and then people were actually voting and like paying attention to these like you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
debates
The
or
primaries. Yeah.
arguments,
Yeah.
televised arguments.
Televised arguments. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And then now, like, I woke up one day and it's like, all right, it's either gonna be Trump or Biden or like maybe Kanye. I'm like, so when did we decide this? I mean, I didn't. I'm Canadian, but like, when did that happen? You know, I feel
Yeah.
like if people really want to get Trump out, like they would have like paid more attention from like a year ago, right? Because that's when people start, you know. I don't know.
Well, that kind of poses an interesting question of, like, it's regardless, they're going to get your attention on the politics in the election year, right?
Yeah.
But then people don't really care about it the other 3 years and 4 months or whatever,
Yeah.
right, of the term. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
It's
I don't know.
It's the sporting event of the year.
It really is, right?
Yeah.
And that is, on either side, the American system is, and Canada's not that far off either, of like, it's such a like, just pony show of nothingness of what
Yeah.
we have, of the whole political theater,
Yeah.
I think.
Fucking
right?
high school elections have more merit.
Exactly.
Honestly.
and
they
less
can make
drama
more
sometimes,
lasting change. in
Yeah,
there,
fuck.
Yeah, and it's weird. It's like we've turned like this into entertainment, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be boring. Like I think like my whole thing is like make politics more boring. Like why is it so extravagant right
Reality
now?
TV.
It's like illustrious. Like it's
Yes.
come on.
Exactly.
And
Illustrious. Good word.
yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Maybe it just comes with age or something. Because, like, I don't know. Like, obviously, as a kid, you don't give a shit.
Well, like I have to now. Like Trump's like nudes leaked or something. I don't even know if those are real, but it's like, bro, like what is going on?
What?
Is that a real headline? I didn't hear
I've
that.
seen a picture, but it's like this could be anything. Like Photoshop's crazy nowadays. Like,
I don't
but at the
think.
same time, like I saw it, I'm like, I believe it for sure.
Or was it like,
You
you
couldn't
know,
see shit. It was just a gut.
now that he actually had it, but you know how like earlier this year there was the like Trump has COVID link, and it was that one like porn star, the black.
There was
black
a thing
dude.
early where like Trump was like hired someone to pee on Obama or something. I don't even know. Like, and I could just sit here and say a bunch of things.
Well,
and
that's exactly
you guys
it.
would be like, I
What?
think I probably just missed that.
Probably happened.
Probably.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, they, yeah, it's funny. It's also far too easy to make Photoshop a convincing, like, Twitter's post of a CNN screenshot.
Oh,
or
it's only
something,
going to get
right?
worse,
So,
too.
yeah.
Deep fakes and all
when
that
you
shit.
see, the deep fakes and stuff of people, like, superimposing
Bro,
people's...
I'm deep faked right now. I'm not even here.
yeah, exactly.
Fucking
Just
talking to a
blow
chair
up
this entire fucking time.
yeah.
This is a hologram, man.
Yeah, exactly. Right? But, like, and you can do that shit on, like, your phone, and it's not bad, right? So,
Yeah.
that
I don't
would
know.
be wild.
Truth doesn't matter anymore.
Simulation, man. Facts don't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're,
Facts don't matter.
Yeah.
And that's such a crazy thing to say. Like, remember when Trump said fake news? And, like, the first time he said that, we're like, what? Did he just say fake news? Like, he got accused of something, and then he's
Yeah.
like, that's fake news. And it's like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever
then
heard.
everyone tried to, but then the, like, more mainstream media tried to flip it on him, but then hit the Trumpians kind of flipped it back, sort of thing, and now
Yeah.
it's in everyone's lexicon, right?
Yeah,
So-
and now I look at news, and it's just synonymous with, like, fake news. Like, I'm like, this is, isn't it all fake?
isn't everything fake news?
Like, unless it's, like...
That's exactly it. Everything
it-
I read, I'm like, is this fucking real?
Unless
Yeah,
it, like,
right?
physically happened. It's like Notre Dame is burning, and there's pictures of it. I'm like, okay, that's probably real. But, like,
Yeah.
when CNN,
Fuck,
Fox
man,
is saying,
even then.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Even then, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, back on politics, and I mean, and like I'm so unqualified. Like I barely even know. My whole thing is like, why do most Canadians know more about how America works than our own shit? Right?
It's true.
That's exactly, yeah. Well, it's funny how much we get of their news cycle in our feeds, right? And it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like it, yes, it affects us to a degree, but it also doesn't, right? Like it is a
Yeah.
different country.
Yeah.
Like it's, I don't know, it is a strange thing, and ours is not.
We need
ours
to beat
isn't
them.
as
We need to
boring.
make ours
Yeah.
more illustrious. We
Yeah.
need to like.
They need to get more boring, or we need to be more.
We need,
Step our game up.
yeah,
we need
exactly.
Trudeau to make a TikTok and just go wild, like just
Something
you
like
know.
that.
I think it was that Jagmeet dude. He recreated that the cranberry, like the dog face.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
drinking cranberry juice on the longboard thing.
Very. He's very with it. Apparently.
He's super with it, and I'm like, dog, I don't even know his policies. I might just vote for him off that. Like, that's sick. I don't
That's why democracy has failed.
Perhaps, yeah.
because it's been turned into like a game show.
It
like,
has, yeah.
Well, it's like
It's the attention
it's
economy.
a game show, and it's also like I would say government's too big, regardless of where you stand politically. Because when the Greeks invented democracy, it was people from the community came together, had a forum where they discussed, made decisions, and then they're like, "Sounds good, guys," and went back to work. Right? Like their politicians weren't just like you're not career
Yeah.
politicians like now.
Yeah.
They would be like a blacksmith and then get elected in their neighborhood or whatever.
Fuck,
right?
we need
So-
more blacksmiths.
Oh my god, bro.
That's what we
the
actually
problem.
My blacksmith just like is busy, so I have to find a
Yeah.
new one and
Yeah.
shit.
It's always way backed up.
Yeah. My fucking armor.
I tried a blacksmith for myself. It just went completely wrong.
That's a skill that's
It
going
was
to be
white. It ended up
lost.
being white. It was fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
This guy named Smith, man. Shit.
I think he was black.
Yeah, could have been. But yeah, bro, I don't even know. Like,
Yeah.
and
Well, I
that's
think-
the whole thing. It's just like the 2020 slogan. Just like, I don't know.
What the fuck?
But it's always been what the fuck. But like
It has.
shit's
More so.
becoming less serious, which is a bad thing. But like I feel like everyone's always taken themselves so serious and shit and looked up to like, oh, the administration, the presidency. It's like, well, now it's just like, who the fuck cares, right? Like this guy, like what is the role of the president even? Didn't he try to do a bunch of shit? They didn't let him, but he also like did a bunch of shit you didn't think he could do. Like unimpeached himself. I think he's gonna like not leave if he gets elected. It's like, oh, that's just something you can do.
Yeah,
That just
yeah.
sounds like some Putin shit, bro. Like, but
Well-
this is just my young kid take on it.
Well, it's like, but there's something to that of like, everyone takes it so seriously, but like I don't think any of us know a lot about good foreign policy or something like that. You know what I mean?
No,
like it's like
no.
we don't really know, but a lot of people take insanely hard stances on.
Here's
right?
the issue: is that everybody has an opinion now, right?
See, man, I'm just trying to plant trees. Like,
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Man. Fucking, it
Mr.
all comes
Beast,
back to planting
plant.
fucking
I
trees.
know.
1
Like
million
I know
trees or
my
whatever he
lane.
did.
Like
Yeah.
if you want to talk to me for 10 minutes, I'll inspire you to like make a beat, and I'll
Yeah.
tell you how.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, do it. But like when it comes to politics, like I don't know. Like
Mhm.
you know,
Plant a tree.
I'm
Plant
pretty
a-
firmly like,
the tree's gonna be there. It doesn't give a
Yeah.
shit about politics.
that's true.
It's gonna make
That's probably
oxygen.
more productive.
Maybe you
planting
should
trees.
be the tree.
Be the tree.
Be
Just
the tree.
chill there.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I don't know. I don't think no politician really cares about you, no matter what they say, and they don't.
No.
No politician's gonna make you successful. They're not gonna make you rich.
Man, I feel like
It's kind of
Bernie,
up to you.
I feel like Bernie cares, bro. For some reason, just the way he talks and shit. I know there's.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
I don't research all his policies, but like, the way he's moving about things, it's like, damn, he's like, there's so many things he could have said
Yeah.
and been like a little more evil, and then he would have like got it in. But like,
Well-
he was like, no, I care about people.
Yeah.
My first
Yeah.
time trying to do a Bernie impression, but yeah.
It wasn't too far off.
That wasn't bad.
I
care
did
about the youth.
actually, I did actually listen to a decent amount of his interview when he was on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, and
he
everyone
has a
should
good,
go on Joe
He has a
Rogan.
good demeanor for sure.
Yeah.
Honestly, Joe Rogan for president. Kind of thing.
Kanye and Biden and Trump all doing a fight companion podcast with Joe Rogan,
Yeah.
or even separately. And I think if Kanye and
Oh, that'd be
Biden
great.
did it and Trump didn't, it would just be so sus. It's like, what? You think
Yeah.
he's gonna like put mushrooms in your whatever you
Yeah.
take? Water?
Trump was like gung ho about doing that. He was
Oh,
like,
really?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
He jumped on it first actually.
I would listen to that nonstop.
It would be great and funny and ridiculous all at the same time.
Mhm.
Kanye was supposed to come on Joe Rogan this week, but Joe Rogan announced today that he had to cancel recordings for a week because Jamie got coronavirus, I guess. So,
Jamie.
yeah.
Fuck, Jamie's my favorite.
Young
though.
Jamie, yeah.
Young
Yeah,
Jamie. I'm
yeah.
changing my name to Young Siko. For real, in respects. I've done it.
I think
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I think it rolls
he
off the
should
tongue.
be fine. So I don't know. I feel it, but isn't everyone young? Whatever. Isn't that a little?
Yeah.
Until you're not.
It
Until
was
you have
young.
to be Jeezy.
No, I just really want to
Yeah.
be young, whatever, and then so I can still be that when I'm 80 and just like not change this shit.
I like it.
But also, I don't know. That's kind of my personality. Is that like every time I had a conversation with someone, they're like, "Damn, you're older than you are. Like you seem older than you are," type shit. And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm actually fucking young." Like I gotta remind people of that. So I don't know. It's serious. I've been toying with the idea.
Mhm.
Because who the fuck wants to actually be famous, like with your actual name type shit?
Mhm.
And if I just leave Drew in the dust, because I don't have any personal attachment to that. You know, like when you hear your name and just you heard it so much, it's like, oh shit, yeah. Like people say Drew Siko, I'm like, oh yeah, who's that? But I feel like you could make, like with the internet and your personality and your type of content you put out, like you could reinvent yourself. You know, I've done a bunch of dyed my hair, like changed the color palette of my fucking feed and my cover arts and shit. It's like, okay, why not the name? Because that's not a legal binding contract. Like the shit that I put my music out under, like it could be whatever. Right?
Yeah.
And what's been really fun and has kind of stopped the that fear of putting stuff out that we were talking about earlier is just dropping stuff under different names. And I feel so mysterious and so sick with it because I don't tell
Yeah.
none of my friends or nobody, and then I just like drop music under like a whole different name. And
I was gonna ask that because when I was looking through on iTunes, like it had a few different names for the artists, I think, right?
yeah, like some of them are collaborations, some of them like could be me type shit,
Yeah.
and it's just like, or there's stuff that I do that I don't even associate whatsoever, but it's still putting stuff out and it's still going to like a whole different audience. Like we talk about the echo chamber a lot and how like Facebook and shit, like depending on who you're following, you're gonna see a
Yeah,
certain
yeah.
world.
Mhm.
And I had this friend that had this like spam account, like I don't know, you guys know spam accounts and shit, right, on Instagram.
Yeah.
Where it's like you take it less serious, like maybe it's private, maybe you're
Like a
just,
Finsta.
yeah,
Is that-
Finsta. Yeah.
I know things.
Finsta. Yeah, that's how it started out. I don't even know what the F in Finsta starts.
I think fake.
Just fake Insta.
Oh my
But
god.
the only people I see with Finstas are like chicks.
Yeah.
And they have like 20 followers, and they're just posting like
They're-
screenshots of ridiculous
They're
text
the
messages
best.
guys
It's
send them.
always them crying, and it's showing like them
Or
crying,
like shit-faced.
or
Yeah.
like a mirror selfie with their ass out that they would never post on their Instagram that like their mom follows, which is like super dope. And I think it's just freeing, right? And then if you just turn your main into, because people are more genuine on the spam account of the Finsta,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But like think the concept of having like a spam account for music, so you could be more genuine and shit like that. But what I was gonna say is that my friend had a spam account where like no one that she knows follows it, like just pretending that she just spawned into this earth, just like random people on the internet. She sees someone cool, like okay, yeah, and then no one local, no one from her political circle, nothing like that. It's just like, all right, you get to see a whole different feed. You get to switch over to like a different, version of the simulation, right?
Interesting.
It's a different perspective, right?
Absolutely.
You know?
Well, I think it's an interesting thing of the AI that is algorithms really drives your reality, and reality is kind of a suggestion for that reason, I think. And I even get it switching between my two Instagram accounts, like ones that I like, even the one for the podcast where I'm not on it all the time, like just looking at whatever the hell I'm looking at, you know what I mean? So yeah. Or it's interesting when you make a new account, what Instagram shows you as like the default.
Yeah.
And it's mostly like fitness checks.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they know that you're a male.
Yeah, they're like, this is what he wants to see.
Exactly, you know.
Yeah.
Cars and butts.
Cars, butts.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe
really
some
all you
rap,
need.
yeah.
But yeah, the algorithms is crazy because like we've been hearing that word a lot, and people understand what it means now.
Yeah.
And I was watching this video about like, I don't know, I'm not really into video games, but do you guys play like Metal Gear Solid or whatever?
I'm familiar with
There's
it.
I think it's an old game, and this iteration of the game might be like mad old, but the ending scene was this: you figure out that the guy you're taking orders from is actually an AI, and basically what he's saying, I think this is from like 2004 or something, and they really predicted it. But the synopsis of what he's saying is that like, okay, we are AI, humans have started to like basically put out fake news and put themselves in echo chambers, so we're gonna come through and like diversify what they see type shit, like using AI. Like if you only follow Republican shit, it's gonna sprinkle in some other, perspective from the other side type shit.
Yeah.
Which sounds evil, but at the same time, you look at what's going on now, and it's like, it's so easy. Like it's forcing you to an echo chamber. Like I miss when Instagram was chronological, or when YouTube was really like it was related, like related videos was like related to the video you're watching, not like, because for me my YouTube is so confused, or my FBI agent, people like to say, like the algorithm, like my Instagram algorithm, my YouTube is so confused because like I've been researching tattoos heavy, mixing music, Photoshop tutorials and stuff, and when I pull up on YouTube, the ads that it gives me is either like tattoo stuff or like just a bunch of different things that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is this kid on? And I'm starting to flip that, and I'm like, it might have like stunted my growth on Instagram because it doesn't know what kind of account I am, and it doesn't know how to like push me, right? So I'm trying to transition my Instagram more towards like, okay, this is a music thing, maybe even have a persona of like Young Sicko or whatever the hell, and then have a separate like tattoo Instagram and only follow and like tattoo shit, and it'll push me as a tattoo account. And the same thing with the Atlas shit. Like I don't want to have just a one conglomerate thing, because I want to do music studio things, I want to do music videos, and I want to do a foundation. So I'm just going to make a different Instagram for each of those because it's free to make, and it kind of puts more stake in the game. It gives you more lottery tickets to put in the bucket, and people might find your account, right? You guys should make a Finsta for the podcast, and then you should also
that'd
make.
be funny.
You should make a fake version of the podcast. Like make it like a hate account of the podcast, but you guys actually run it, and then
some real propaganda.
Yeah,
interesting.
Because like think about it. If it's like fuck long and hard, people will be like, well, I like long and hard. Like why fuck long and hard? And then they'll like ride for you guys harder. Be like, well, someone over here is saying fuck you guys. I don't see no problem with you guys. And then they become bigger fans. But anyone that's like, fuck long and hard for real, for I don't know why they could go to that Instagram,
exactly.
and they could have a little culture and a little conglomerate with themselves. Meanwhile,
while actually watching our clips and stuff, and we're controlling the narrative.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then you guys
that is some fucking brilliant evil shit.
Yeah, I'm all for the evil shit, man. Like, but the thing is, like, I I don't know. I think the world's been flipped because we used to think like, oh yeah, corporations have our back, you know, like these corporations that are selling us like good shit, they're the good guys, and you know, we're not evil, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you realize that everyone's evil, it's like in an evil world, like acting what we've been taught is evil. Maybe that's good, you know, like not, of course, not harming people and shit, but people
Going
are scared of
against the grain.
Yeah, against the grain. People are scared of that sort of shit, but it's like
Individuality.
Yeah.
One could argue.
Yeah. I'm just trying to say like you're the fish swimming up the stream. What the fuck? Swimming up this little stream, and everyone's going down, and maybe they're going down to a waterfall, you know? Like, we're starting to realize more and more that, like, oh shit, our society kind of took a weird turn, like, especially with this echo chamber shit. It really does scare me, because, like, your phone is your perception. It's the lens you see the world through. And depending on who you just randomly followed, like, beginning from when you got social media to now, it's gonna affect how you view the world. But when you look up from your phone, you look outside, like, everyone's chilling. Like, there's nobody like in MAGA hats, like punching people. There's nobody like in like masks rioting like around you, unless like you were around when that happened. Like, the world's pretty, on a local level, is pretty cool. And when I have conversations like in person, like with you guys, we all say the same stuff. Oh, politics is fucked. You know, the left and right are too divided. There's too much divisiveness. You know, we should do something different. We should change this up. And in real life, I'm having the conversation, but you go and you see the sensationalized media, and you're like, okay. But when we realize that the media has stock in making shit sensationalized to get more views, then there's an issue, and we're all aware of it. We all know CNN's gonna do fucking clickbait shit, and Fox is going to as well. And we know this inherently. Like, the middle people, maybe the left and right people don't know, but like the middle people, they know this shit. So it's like, all right, what are we gonna do? Just let it happen? Like, we gotta figure out a solution. And I don't know if it's AI, because that seems kind of scary. Like, putting these AI little things, like, okay, we're gonna diversify your your feed, but like, I don't know what the solution is. All I know is that I'm kind of done with like talking about it and not brainstorming.
Doing something about it.
Yeah. Opting out, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna live in the woods. Right?
Cabin in the woods. I was about to say.
I mean, there's joking about it, but actually, since this thing has happened, like, there's been a mass exodus from cities.
Really?
Yeah, people are like wanting that, you know, that plot of land.
Yeah.
Because why the fuck not? You know?
Yeah, and especially with COVID, like, you're zooming everywhere. Like, as long as you got Wi-Fi, you're good. Like, good. I'm actually, like, in my career, I kind of think that I'm working towards getting to a place where I'm like financially stable enough to go, like, cop my grandparents' farm and like live there with a Wi-Fi connection, do my little business meetings or whatever, but be in like a sustainable area, farm my own food. And we're just so bogged down by the city that anyone mentions that, and everyone's always like, for sure, you know, like, that's kind of a, especially with the hipster and the movement and the
most people would like
jar
see where
people.
You're coming from. Mason jar people.
It's the easiest way to describe it.
I mean, it kind of lifts the veil off, though, like, when you can't do shit, right? It's like, well, why am I living in a city? Right? It's like, well, I can't go to the fucking club, so it's like, well,
for sure,
you know, there's no benefit.
No point
of that.
for almost anything because of that. I agree.
It's like, I mean, I guess I got the supermarket, but I mean, I could buy fucking potatoes from Jim down the street. So I don't know.
There's a lot of times I've lived in different cities and shit, and I've been like, okay, like, why am I living here? And sometimes it's as simple as being like, well, I don't have a car, so I'm going to use the transit. You know? Like, I'm just closer to things, right? If I lived on a farm and I couldn't afford a car, like, you're fucked. You're just stranded. Like, grow some food, man.
I guess. Make it work.
So it's convenient to be, like, really densely packed, but it's kind of more naturalistic to be in these little villages or these little, you know, plots of land, right?
150 people, bro. Find your 150 people and go fucking live with them.
Village by the sea, right? Yeah. All right. We're getting pretty close to time, so I guess what's kind of next for you, Drew?
Oh man, I wish I could tell you guys.
We have the album drop or the song dropping on the 11th.
Sick drops.
Yeah, the 11th, November 11th, and I've
song or just a song? Correct?
Just a song, but I really like, albums are my favorite thing to do. I like to create worlds, cover art, music videos, tie things together. But in today's day and age, and like how you release music, it's really just singles, right? And especially when you're growing your audience, you gotta like give them like put some
Yeah,
stock
yeah,
in
yeah.
like, hey, like,
Gotcha.
one song, just listen to one song at a time. So over the summer I made an album that's basically, when I look at it, like just a collection of singles, right? And then I'm like, okay, why even put this out as an album? So I think I still will put it out as a collection with some bonus songs.
Yep.
But I'm just gonna use that album and drop probably every like 2 or 3 weeks, right? So like November 11th is when for sure the next one's coming out. But I've set the cover art, and all the other songs are done. I got like 9 of them, so I'll still decide. But you might see like 9 new singles every couple weeks from me, or maybe 3 or 4 and then an album type thing. But I'm always gonna be doing stuff. But
Excellent.
in the background, I'm just working on the Atlas stuff and trying to, there's a whole team of people I'm working with to like get that off the ground type shit. Cause I've tried to do shit by myself. Like I had a magazine before, and like I was saying, the podcast that was involved in it as well. But I was just one kid in high school, so like one bad breakup or one fucking moving towns or some shit, and then you're just like too bogged down to work on that. So I'm trying to devise a team to like mostly hold each other accountable, like give each other tasks to be like, okay, if one of us is having a bad day or gets COVID or is sick or is going through something, like we can help each other out, but we can also keep the business afloat. And when I was looking into registering businesses, it was like, yeah, sole proprietorship versus like incorporation, and the incorporation lives on after your death, right? And I'm like, after your death, shit. Like I guess my music lives on after my death, but like to create a company and something that could feasibly grow and shift like after your death. Same way Steve Jobs, like all the shit we're talking about, the Face ID and everything, like that was after he died, right? But without him it wouldn't be a thing. So at the end of the day, I'm just trying to affect as much change as I can most efficiently, and just carry on. And honestly, at the end of the day, I'm trying to plant like so many trees, like go in front of people's houses, like plant like 8 trees. They can't even get to their fucking door. Like so many, like fill the whole world, like even in the concrete, like figure out, like just drill in it, just plant some under there.
Fuck yeah.
I like it. Cool. And what's about your handles? Where can people find more of you? I know Late Night is on iTunes, Spotify right now.
Yeah, so like Late Night's the most recent single. Drew Siko, kind of on everything, but I'm toying with the idea of just Young Siko, because everyone I fucking know just calls me Siko anyways, and I'm young. And I'm not Beyonce. I'm not gonna do just like the one name shit.
Yep.
And I like how it's also just 4 letters. But yeah, so maybe Drew Siko, maybe Young Siko.
All right. Well,
maybe Young Lean. Maybe I'll snatch Young Lean's body, steal his identity, plant a tree where he used to be. I don't fucking know, but I don't know. It was good talking to you guys, and
thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for coming. This was awesome, actually. That was a good time.
It's fun.